Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here on the 28th day of August 28th. Today is Wednesday, I do believe. Coming to you live right now from Chattanooga, Tennessee. That's right, Chattanooga, Tennessee, where I will be lecturing this evening at 7 p.m. Chattanooga, Tennessee, this evening at 7 p.m. at the Chattanooga Choo Choo. How about that? That's right. Put that one. That's a one for the record books. Dr. Glidden at the Chattanooga Choo Choo. Gotta love it. I'm going to be there at 7 o'clock tonight. We were in a small town in Tennessee last night, Smithville, a small town in Tennessee last night, Smithville, where we talked to 160 people. Now, 160 people in the entire town of Smithville. There are 6,000 people, so when we do some quick math, that means we pulled, let me do the math right for you right now, 26% of the population, I'm sorry, 2%, 2.6, 3% of the population, 3% of the population was there last night, 3%, that's remarkable. I mean, that's a remarkable turnout for any venue, let alone a small town, and this was a testament to the grassroots networking that we're doing. The grassroots word of mouth is how we get our message of health recovery through science-based clinical nutrition to whomever wants to listen. We help one person, and they tell their neighbor, and they tell their pastor, and they tell their cousin, and they tell their brother, and they tell their accountant, and their plumber, and their electrician, and before you know it, the entire town is there. And we had two remarkable testimonials last night. I mean, if you would have been there, if you weren't in tears, then I don't know, this has got to be something wrong with you. It's just a remarkable thing, and I can't talk enough about it. 160 people, right? And they stayed for 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours. Now, why would somebody give up 3.5 hours of their life to come and hear a total stranger talk to them about health? Well, guess why? Because their health is in ruins. Because they're in the weeds. They're up against it. They are struggling with a health issue in contemporary American medicine, i.e. the MD-directed medical therapeutics delivered through their hospitals and through their licensed medical practitioners in the great state of Tennessee were not sufficient to the cause. Not sufficient to the cause. That's why we draw big crowds. That's why people come to hear what we have to say, and then they stay once they hear us say it. Because we're not blowing smoke, we're not obfuscating, we're not conflating. All we're doing is speaking our truth, and the truth has a ring to it. And when you hear what we have to say, you're going to want to hear more, and that's what happened last night. Got a bunch of sign-ups also to my online health recovery subscription service. Got a bunch of new listeners. I think I got 100 new listeners last night. And, you know, in a town of that size, by the end of the month, I'm going to have 1,000 new listeners because they're going to tell everybody in their lives about what we're up to here. And you can listen to this radio show from anywhere in the world via the Internet. You've heard the phone calls. We get phone calls here from Hong Kong, from the United Kingdom, from Germany, from Scandinavia, from Hawaii, from all over the world through the agency of the Internet. And this is how we're going to change the world, ladies and gentlemen, one person at a time. And this is the wisdom of Dr. Wallach. This is Dr. Wallach's strategy. You know, Wallach could have set his company, Longevity, up as a direct-to-consumer vitamin company. He could have gotten his stuff at GNC. He could have sold his stuff to doctors. He could have sold his stuff to licensed healthcare practitioners, but he didn't. He decided on purpose to set Longevity up as a networked marketing company in order to build a grassroots network. And this was exemplified last night. This was exemplified last night in Smithville, Tennessee. 160 souls showed up and stayed for 3+ hours to listen to good old Dr. Glidden speak the truth about science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. They showed up because someone that they trusted told them, look, you better not miss this event. Lots of great questions last night. There's one thing I do want to share with you that I heard from one of the attendees. She told me a story about a friend of hers who was diagnosed with some type of cancer. I think it was uterine cancer. And, of course, they went to the MDs, and the MDs, sold them a dog and pony show that this is exactly what they needed to do, that chemotherapy was the only way to go, and that they shouldn't bother with any alternative stuff because chemotherapy is the only thing that's proven to be effective for this stuff, blah, 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 blah. And, of course, the person went along with it. Even though this person had grown up their entire life of a holistic bent, liking medical nutrition, liking botanical medicine, liking acupuncture and homeopathy. And, they're up against a cancer diagnosis, and that's going to scare the bejesus out of anybody. So they're scared, and they go to this multi-million-dollar high-tech medical facility where you're intimidated just by walking in the door. You sit down with a doctor with a white coat and a stethoscope around their neck, and they're sitting in a room filled with all this high-tech stuff. You think you're on board the Starship Enterprise. Now you're doubly intimidated and triply intimidated. And then the oncologist sells you a false bill of goods about the effectiveness of chemotherapy and tells you not to do anything alternative. Specifically, expressly says, don't bother with that alternative stuff. Long story short, 6 months later, after the treatment was completely ineffective, after the person's body was worse off, not from the cancer, but from the treatment, racked with pain now because of the net negative effects of the chemotherapy and not a budge in the genesis of the cancer. No change there. Then the oncologist says, well, we've got nothing more for you. This treatment didn't work. Now I guess you can go and do that vitamin stuff. Well, 6 months ago you told me the vitamin stuff wouldn't work and your stuff would work. I want my damn money back. This is what I demand from you. You lied to me. You sold me a false bill of goods. You pitched me a pig with lipstick. But, of course, they get a pass because they monopolize the medical theater. We have no say in the matter. Because MDs have a license to kill, and because they own the show, because they monopolize the medical industry, we've got nothing. We have no recourse. No recourse at all. And, that doctor slept very soundly that night because they delivered the best that medicine had to offer for cancer baloney. The best that medicine has to offer for cancer is ineffective treatments. We've gotten very little traction in the treatment of cancer from any type of cancer treatment. And if you don't believe me, here's what you do. Purchase my book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes. You can download it to your Kindle in 20 seconds by going to my website and clicking on the store button, or we can, Amazon will snail mail you a paperback copy of the book, whatever floats your boat. I have a chapter there on cancer. There are 10 questions in the cancer chapter that every cancer patient needs to ask their doctor. And just sit down and have an honest conversation with your oncologist. And what I recommend, and I'm as serious as a heart attack when I say this, when you have this conversation with your oncologist, I want you to be accompanied by 2 of the biggest relatives that you have, male relatives. I want you to dress them in black suits. I want you to put sunglasses on them. And I want them to stand in back of you with their arms crossed, staring down the doctor, while you're asking him these questions. And, of course, we do it politely. And you have a little notebook, and I'll give you the questions right now. You don't even have to buy the book. Here they are. Number 1, doctor, does the treatment that you're recommending I have for the type of cancer that I have at the stage that I have it in, will it cure my cancer? You got to use the cure word. Will it cure my cancer? Doctor's eyebrows will furrow, and of course they'll say, well, no, we can't cure the cancer. And so the second question is, well, if you can't cure the cancer, then what can I expect from this treatment? What are you possibly hoping to do? If you can't cure the cancer, why are you recommending that I get this treatment? What can I expect? And then the doctor will tell you what's going to happen. And then you say, well, how are the treatment effects going to affect the quality of my life? What type of side effects can I reasonably expect to acquire from this ineffective non-curative cancer treatment that you're giving me? What type of side effects should I expect, and how is that going to affect the quality of my life? Number 4, what type of treatments are you going to recommend I take to get over the side effects that the ineffective cancer treatment is giving me? What are you going to do to handle the side effects? Number 5, how much money are you personally going to profit by delivering this therapeutic? Number 6, how much money is this hospital personally going to profit by delivering this type of therapeutic? Number 7, I would like to talk to a number of patients who have had this diagnosis, who have undergone your treatment. I need 10 names of patients with this type of cancer who've had this type of treatment, because I want to call them up and see how they're doing with the treatment and what their outcomes were. Question number 8, how long can I expect to live under your treatment? Question number 9, why are you a jackass? Well, all right, you don't have to ask that question. Honestly, I don't have the book in front of me. I can't remember questions number 9 and 10. But they're there. There are 10 questions you need to ask. But you get the gist of what I'm saying, right? Now, this is just an honest conversation. You would have a conversation like this if there was something wrong with your automobile. You would have a conversation like this if there was something wrong with your computer. You wouldn't just give your computer to the tech guy and say, have at it. I got a blank checkbook. Do whatever you want. You'd need details. And, I remember the other questions. What type of recourse will I have if your therapeutics harm me? What type of legal recourse will I have if I'm harmed by your therapeutics? And question number 10, will I be required to sign a waiver releasing you in the hospital from all damages that this treatment can produce? 10 questions right there for your cancer doctor. Ladies and gentlemen, if every cancer patient asked every oncologist these 10 questions, nobody would undergo the cancer treatment. Because cancer treatment, 99.9% of the time, does not work. It doesn't work. It doesn't cure the cancer. All it does is create massive side effects, maybe give you a couple of extra years of life, the quality of which has become completely destroyed by the side effects of the drugs. It's a pig with lipstick, and it's time we called these SOBs out to the mat. And I'm choosing my words carefully. Go into California when we come back to talk to Javier. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, coming to you live from Chattanooga, Tennessee on the 28th day of August here. Chattanooga, 20th to Tennessee, where I will be lecturing live, God willing, tonight at 7 p.m. East Coast time at the Chattanooga Choo-Choo. That's right, baby, the Chattanooga Choo-Choo. That's where I'll be, God willing, tonight at 7 p.m. Hope you can make it. If you have anybody in your listening audience, in your family, anywhere in your life who lives in Chattanooga, give them a shout-out tonight at the Chattanooga Choo-Choo. They'll know where that is, 7 p.m. It's a free lecture, of course, as they always are. Going to my old golfing buddy Javier from California, who's got a question, I think, about belching and bloating. Hey, Javier, what's going on? Keep your head down and follow through.
How are you doing?
I'm having a hard time hearing you, buddy. You're going to have to switch the phone or speak up.
Let me talk louder. Well, I'm happy to talk to you, and I hope you got the email I sent last night. I was up till 1:30 in the morning looking at videos and all that. It's like you select the ones I want to send to you and writing that note that I sent on golf. I have two friends. One is Socorro. We call her Coco. And she's got, she says she's got belching, bloating, gases, and constipation. Also has fungus between her toes. And the other person, Manolo, has eye floaters.
Okay, so eye floaters, let's tackle that one first. That's often, the culprit with eye floaters is often a combination of two things. Dehydration, number one. They're just not drinking enough water. Or they're drinking too much caffeine, right? Because caffeine is a diuretic, and the more caffeine you drink, the more you pee. So even if you are drinking a normal amount of water, but you're throwing down a couple of cappuccinos or espressos or cups of coffee a day or tea, or a sweet tea if you live down here in the South, you can be peeing out more liquids than you're taking in. So dehydration need not be overlooked, number one. Number two, oxidative damage is afoot here. So, the recommendation to support his eye health would be the Anti-Aging Healthy Pack 2.0, the Anti-Aging Healthy Pack 2.0, because it's loaded with antioxidants. One package per 100 pounds of body weight per month. The selenium, one bottle per 50 pounds of body weight per month, because selenium recycles the body's own natural antioxidant glutathione and eliminate the 10 bad foods. Selenium is the key here for anybody attempting to support and promote eye health. Selenium, and then some more selenium. It's never a bad idea to increase circulation when we're attempting to sort out an eye problem. And if there's extra money, a good add-on for him in order to support and promote his circulatory system's ability to deliver blood is the Ultimate Daily Capsules. All right. Now, the first person that we talked about with the bloating and the gas and the fungus between the toes, most invariably, that's a combination of two things. I'm going to bet you 25 cents that there was at some point in her past a history of antibiotic use, long-standing antibiotic use. The doctors put her on antibiotics for weeks or months at a time for some reason. Antibiotics, they do some good, but they do some bad. Also, they completely eliminate the good bacteria in your gut. And when that happens, a fungus, which is present in the body all the time, and yeast, which is present in the body all the time, gets the upper hand because now it doesn't have to compete with the good bacteria in the body because it's been destroyed by the antibiotic, and antibiotics only kill bacteria. They don't kill yeast or fungus. How about that? So this is why women get yeast infections after they're put on a course of antibiotics. And so I think that she has an overgrowth of yeast in her gut. If she has a fungal infection between the toes, then that's almost a drop-dead diagnostic clue that she has too much yeast in her body. And why does someone have too much yeast? Because they don't have enough good bacteria in the gut, and also because there's too much sugar in the blood. Sugar feeds yeast. So she needs to eliminate the 10 bad foods. Number 2, she needs one healthy digestion pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, one bottle of Sweet Ease per 50 pounds of body weight per month, one bottle of Sweeties per 50 pounds of body weight per month, and one bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month. If money's an issue here, then lean on the Sweeties. The Sweeties is what she needs, in addition to the healthy pack, plus elimination of the 10 bad foods. Now, topically, she can get the Pure Works foam, and apply the foam between her toes 3-4 times a day. That will help to kill the fungus that's topically from the top down, while we're helping to kill it from the bottom up with the nutrients. And the final straw in this soda pop is the root beer belly. Give her one package of root beer belly a day for 30 days. That's a really good prescription for health, if you ask me, Javier. Keep your head down and follow through, buddy. Going to Susie in Tampa when we come back, folks. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, broadcasting live from the South. Love the South. Southern hospitality is a very real thing. I am here to tell you Southern hospitality is a very real thing, and the Southerners have a lot of stuff dialed in, but one thing they've gotten completely wrong, and this is a historical anecdote, this is a historical colloquialism of sorts, a food colloquialism that's killing people down here, and they don't even know it, is their abject genuflection at the altar of fried food. In the South, of course, fried food is a staple, much like water. And I always say it at my lectures. I get a big laugh. It's kind of a guilty laugh. But, in the South, if they could, man, they'd fry water. I mean, they fry everything here. And when you fry something, it creates a nasty chemical called acrylamide, and acrylamide causes cancer and inflammation, and it's a big, bad voodoo daddy. If you look at a map of life expectancy from birth, county by county in the United States, the people who live in the old Confederate South and Indian reservations around the U.S., Native American reservations, to be politically correct, they have the shortest lifespan of anybody by 5 to 10 years. And it's the South, right? And what's the difference in the South? Well, they eat fried food more than anybody else. They have the same doctors, the same insurance, the same drugs, the same hospitals, the same water, the same sanitation, the same everything. The only thing that's different in the South is the absolute indulgence unequivocal indulgence in fried food. It's just part of the Southern culture. It just is like sweet tea. It's part of the deal. So look, if you live in the South or anywhere, I don't care where you live, north, south, east, or west, stop eating fried food, and you will add 5 to 10 years to your life expectancy. You will add 5 to 10 years to your life expectancy just by stopping fried food. That's how bad it is. You don't believe me? Stop eating fried food for 4 weeks in a row. 4 weeks in a row, 1 month, 30 days, 4 weeks. And then on the 31st day, just eat fried food like you used to. And you tell me how you feel. Proof of the pudding's in the eating. Talking about the South, we're going to go way down south now to Tampa and talk to Susie. Hey, Susie, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. G. Thanks for taking my phone call. I've been on the Healthy Start Pack for about 1.5 years, and I don't think I'm absorbing everything like I should be.
Yeah.
About a month ago, I had to be put on antibiotics because I had an infection in my tooth, and then I got diarrhea, and then it seems like everything has come back,
Well, was this now before you got the tooth infection? How were you doing on the products and with the discipline? I mean, did you see any improvement anywhere in your life?
Oh yeah, I felt great. I felt like wow.
So there was all right. So there was a big, unbelievable positive change, and then you got a tooth infection, and then they put you on an antibiotic. Mm-hmm. And since the antibiotic, you just haven't been the same. Is that right?
That's correct.
More or less. Mm-hmm. All right. How long were you on the antibiotic?
2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. And how long ago was that? When was the last dose?
I believe 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay.
4 to 5 weeks ago.
All right. Now, since things have gotten bad since the antibiotic, has the badness plateaued out, or are you getting a little bit worse every week?
It's plateaued out.
Yeah, okay, good. All right. So, you're absolutely correct that, again, it's not the gun, it's how it's used. It's not the drug, it's how it's used. And antibiotics can save your life, but they also cause side effects that need to be taken care of. And why the MDs don't automatically take care of this or counsel people about this is nuts. I mean, it's just nuts. You wouldn't tell somebody to go outside and shovel the snow in their bathing suit, right? You would tell them to go outside and shovel the snow in a snowsuit so you can handle the stress of the cold. Well, there's things that you need to do to handle the stress of the antibiotic, because along with the good comes the bad in the case of pharmaceuticals all the time. Mm-hmm. But the MDs never counsel people about this because they're blind to it, and this is, one more reason to fire the MD. I mean, for goodness sake. You've been suffering for 4 weeks now because they're incompetent. I mean, I'm choosing my words carefully. I mean, you're suffering because of a treatment that they gave you. And it's going on for 4 weeks, and what the heck? Now, I'm glad that you didn't die from a tooth infection, right? I mean, that's a good thing. But, there's other stuff that they could have done that they should have done, and they didn't do it, and that's a big problem. So the antibiotic, right, is broad spectrum killer of bacteria, whether it's good bacteria or bad bacteria. And when you take an antibiotic into your system for more than a couple of days, the good bacteria starts to die, and when the good bacteria dies, everything goes south, or everything gets funky in the body. So what we need to do is give your body a lot of the good bacteria and support and promote your digestive tract for a couple days or even a couple weeks. So what's your current body weight?
115.
115? All right. So if you want to be aggressive with this, I would get 1 box of root beer belly, 1 box of root beer belly, and I would take 1 packet of the root beer belly twice a day for 2 weeks. I would do 1 packet of the root beer belly twice a day for 2 weeks, and the best time to do that is right before bed and first thing in the morning when you wake up. Right before bed and first thing in the morning. And if you forget, just make sure you get 2 packets in your body a day. It doesn't really matter with the root beer belly when you take it because it's enterically coated, so the little living bacteria can make it through your digestive tract unscathed. So you don't really need to worry about taking it on an empty stomach, but it certainly isn't going to hurt, and, you might as well just dial that in. to increase the odds of your getting a positive impact from it. One packet of root beer belly twice a day for 14 days will go a long way towards giving your gut back the good bacteria that it needs. And often it's just as simple as that. You just have to kind of prime that pump a little bit, give the gut the good stuff, and then once it has enough of the good stuff, it's kind of off to the races again, and your digestive tract will sort itself out. So that's how I would handle that. I wouldn't really do anything different other than a little bit of root beer belly and see how it goes. Now, of course, right, anything that we can do to support and promote the digestive tract is never a bad idea. And the basic rule of thumb there is make sure that you're salting your food so that your food tastes good. And if your food tastes too salty, well, you've used too much. And you might need to use twice as much salt on Tuesday as you did on Monday. You might need to need 3 times as much on Thursday because your need for salt will change and your body will let you know. And you must be taking adequate amounts of calcium every day because your gut needs calcium in order to have healthy digestive acid. So make sure you're doing your calcium, which I'm sure that you are. Make sure you're salting your food, and just add the root beer belly into the bargain. Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds good, but the killer thing is the antibiotics didn't heal the tooth infection.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me, right?
Still got the tooth infection. So
you still have the tooth infection.
Yeah.
So, you ask the doctor for your money back. I mean, it didn't work, right?
I know. It's ridiculous.
It didn't work.
So they
I know.
wait a couple weeks. If it doesn't feel better, they wrote me out a script for another set of antibiotics.
Yeah, great. All right. I know, right? I mean, what the heck? So, all right, so here's what we're going to try to do, here's what we are going to do to intervene here. And I don't know if this is going to work, but I've heard from a number of people who've called into this radio show with tooth testimonials, and I talk about not knowing what you don't know. I had no idea that medical nutrition could, hit this one, but apparently it does every once in a while. So here's what I want you to do. Get a bottle of the plant-derived minerals, not the cherry mints, the plant-derived minerals, and I want you to take a half an ounce of the plant-derived minerals and a half an ounce of the calcium, liquid calcium. I want you to mix them together, and I want you to put them in your mouth and swish it around in your teeth. Swish it around like you do with Scope or mouthwash, right? Just swish it around in there for about 60 seconds, and then swallow it, and then rinse your mouth out with water, and swish it around, and then swallow that. I want you to do that, 5 times a day, all right? Just do it as much as you can, at least four times a day, all throughout the day. 4 times a day, all throughout the day. Now, in between doses of the mouthwash with the calcium and the plant minerals, I want you to get some colloidal silver, Youngevity's colloidal silver, and I want you to put a dropper full of colloidal silver in 1 ounce of water. A dropper full of colloidal silver in 1 ounce of water, and I want you to swish that around in your mouth for a minute and then swallow it down. So we do the plant minerals and the calcium, and then the colloidal silver, and then the plant minerals and the calcium, and then the colloidal silver, and then the plant minerals and the calcium, and then the colloidal silver all day long. Alternate, alternate, alternate. And into the bargain, at 118 pounds, take 1 capsule of Killer Biotic with each meal. 1 capsule of Killer Biotic with each meal. Do that for 7 days in a row and see what happens to the infection. Now, you have to be doing the root beer belly into the bargain here. And if we're going to do this type of a program, then I would recommend you really do dial in the root beer belly first thing in the morning and immediately before bed, all right? Because there's a lot going on here, and that's the best way to do it. Now, this is all, of course, Susie, built upon the supposition that you're going to continue with everything else the way you've been continuing it. So we don't discontinue the Healthy Start Pack or the Beyond Tangy or the EFAs or anything else. You just continue along that road, add the root beer belly, add the mouthwash with the plant minerals and the calcium and then the colloidal silver alternating. Do that for 7 days. Keep your fingers crossed and see what happens. And I would be very, very, very interested to see what type of a report that you have. And remember, nobody knows where the point of no return is. I mean, your doctor doesn't know it, apparently. Nobody knows. Maybe you'll be able to get on the other side of the infection, maybe not. But I will tell you one thing. If not, after you do this program for 7 days, then your body is going to be much more responsive to any type of treatment. And, you know, it might be time to go to a different dentist and get a second opinion. Oftentimes with dentistry we find this, I have a lot of personal testimonies about this. I had the most horrible teeth in the world when I was a kid because I didn't know anything about medical nutrition. I'm a walking, talking calcium deficiency textbook. I mean, you could write a textbook on calcium deficiencies based on my prior life. No kidding. I've had lots of experience with dentists over my life. And I'm here to tell you that not all dentists are created equal. So even if you really, really like this person and they seem nice and personable, they missed it the first time, I don't know that they're going to get it the second time. I would get a second opinion. Ask around. Ask your friends who they've had a positive experience with, and you might just want to switch it up if my little 7-day experiment doesn't work. Does that sound like a plan?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Susie from Tampa, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, girl. All right, yeah, thank you very much. Call me back with an update, please, in a week or so. I will look forward to it. Thanks, Susie. Appreciate your trust. Well, this is it, ladies and gentlemen, right? They mess up and they mess up and they mess up, and we've got no recourse except what are you going to do? Call Dr. Glidden. I mean, I'm glad I'm here. Glad Dr. Wallach's here. But think about all the people in your life who don't know about us. Think about the millions of people who are suffering silently for no reason other than lack of knowledge. What are you waiting for? Call them up. Send them a link to my website. Send them a link to the webinars that I do. Send them a link to the radio show, and let's take some action and make a difference. Dr. Peter Glidden coming live right at you from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Stick around. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. A shout out to Matt Tokoff for some of the most funniest graphics I have ever seen in my life. Good job, Mr. Tokoff. Going to finish out the first hour here in Cleveland talking to Lena. Hey, Lena, thanks for the phone call. You are live. Come in, Lena. Hello, Lena.
From Sweden.
Oh, from Sweden?
I'm calling from Sweden.
From Sweden? Oh, well, I guess my board man got that wrong. Welcome aboard. What time is it in Sweden?
It's almost 11 o'clock at night.
Wow, wow. Very, very good. So is Sweden the land of the midnight sun in the summertime?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. I'd love to get to Sweden someday. I've heard so much about it, but that's not why you called, Lena. Thanks for the phone call. How can I help?
Well, I have a question. 3.5 years ago, I had a stress-related heart attack.
Yeah.
And after that, I got the diagnosis fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
And when I did, with my heart attack, I got Lipitor and all these medicines.
Ouch.
That made my pain a lot more or a lot worse.
Right.
So I couldn't take it. So my husband found longevity, and we've been taking it now since, I think, April, May.
Yep.
And for my husband, it's been wonderful. But I get sick very easily, and I'm very tired, and I still have my pain. And 2.5 weeks ago, I got sick again with double ear infection, sinus infection, bronchitis, and strep throat.
Ouch.
So my doctor gave me antibiotics.
Yeah.
And it took away most of it, but I'm still very tired. So I went to a homeopathic doctor.
Yeah.
And she took a look at me, and she said that I had hormonal imbalance.
Yeah.
And that I showed her the longevity vitamins that I'm taking, and she said, that's wonderful. However, it seems like my body cannot take up the vitamins. She said I needed iodine, in order for the body to take it up.
Well, she's half right.
She also said I had...
Yeah, she also said you have what?
Very low white blood count.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be in keeping with what's happening to you. Okay, what's your current body weight?
Yes. About 155 pounds.
Okay, so the only time that medical nutrition does not work is, and you're on the right track here, if you're not taking the right stuff, if you're not taking enough of the right stuff, or you're not absorbing what you're taking. Any of these variables can persist. And sometimes what interferes with absorption of the nutrients is, we're eating certain food that is binding to the minerals, and so, we're kind of taking 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. So I want you to do a Google search for phytate, P-H-Y, T like Thomas, A, T like Thomas, E, phytate foods, all right? Phytates are a biochemical that's in food, and phytates bind to minerals. So if you're taking a supplement program that's heavy in minerals, which Youngevity is, if you're swallowing those with a meal that has food that has phytates in it, that's going to be interfering with the absorption of the nutrients. So you need to stop eating food that has phytates in it, or take your Youngevity supplements between meals, all right, number one. Number two, you, your husband, me, and everybody else in the world, I don't care if we're in the U.S., Sweden, or Antarctica, needs to eliminate the 10 bad foods. Eliminate the 10 bad foods from your life. That has to go, otherwise your absorption is going to be compromised. Now, at 150 pounds, given your history, the recommendation would be 1 healthy start pack, 4 bottles of selenium, 1 healthy start pack, 4 bottles of selenium, 1 box of root beer belly, 1 box of root beer belly, and 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals. That's 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals a month, 1 box of root beer belly a month, 4 bottles of selenium, and 1 healthy start pack per month. Dial that supplement program in for 4 weeks. Eliminate those foods from your diet. Call me back in 4 weeks with a report. I think you're going to enjoy how you feel. I appreciate the phone call all the way from Sweden. Thanks so much, folks. Hour 2 coming up.